think we all get the feeling that something just isn't right in the world. Welcome, fellow foilers, to the Tin Foil Hat Club, where we dare to discuss all the things we don't talk about in church. And where yesterday's fiction becomes tomorrow's fact.
When you've got a government that's lying to your face, controlling the information through the media that it owns, that's not a recipe for peace in a civilization.
Atonement. The electromagnetic waves affecting our planet.
Megalithic cyclopean sites.
Anderson Cooper, intern for the CIA.
Watchers in the days of Noah.
Well, hello and welcome. I want to give you guys a quick update. It's been a while since I've done one of these shows with you guys, and I just wanted to provide you all an update as to everything we've got going on at the Foil, because we actually have quite a bit going on that you guys are not familiar with. So I just want to touch upon some of these things really quick and just share this information with you guys and really kind of get into that. So first of all, thank you guys so much for all your love and support over this last little bit of time. And we're coming up on 2 years here in a few months. And I can't tell you how much that means to Ben and I. We really do treat this like, and the way I describe it to everyone, is our ministry. So you guys are helping to support our ministry, and that really means a lot to us. So I want to kind of go through, and I got some stuff I want to share with you at the end today. I was really hesitant to share this with you guys. It's personal. But I just feel like I owe it to you and to explain to you just kind of the situation of what's going on. So I will kind of cover some of that at the end. And I want to kind of go through some of the things first that we actually have going on, some changes that we have made, and what is coming down the pike. So ultimately, we have made some changes to our membership tier. We'll start there. So if you go to our website, the tfhc.com, and you actually click on members, okay? And I will share my screen with you guys so you guys can see all this. So when you go there, there'll be a pop-up that appears. And if you click on members, you will go over to our Supercast site. And I will share that now so you guys can see. And so, yeah, this is our Supercast site. And we used to have 3 tiers of membership. We had light, we had regular, and we had heavy duty. And the HD Foiler plan, which is all the way on the right, the heavy duty or HD, nothing has really changed there. You're still going to get access to all of our HD episodes, which we have, I think, nearly 24 and counting, and access to exclusive live recordings with guests, because we record every single episode that we do live. That provides some extra challenges for us that we're working through, and as we try to increase the production values of this crazy thing. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that today and show you a little behind the scenes sneak peek of what we actually have to do in order to bring the show to you, and what we have to do to present the show to you in the best form we can, because we're a low budget operation. But I want to give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes. But we actually do record all of our shows live, and then later on there is an edited normal podcast release, because we really have 2 audiences. We actually have you guys on YouTube that are going to watch this, and we have another audience that is just really mainly podcast. They don't care about watching the content live, or they don't even care about watching the content at all. They just want to hear the episodes when they come out. So we actually do provide an edited podcast release, which we actually provide to you guys back as well on YouTube when they come out. So that's kind of how we do everything. Now, we have made some changes. Obviously, the light level has completely gone away. We threw everything, obviously, that's in the light level is automatically included in the regular foiler level. But here's the major change. Up to this particular point, other than those live HD only episodes where we would record with a guest and you had to have an HD membership in order to get access to those, we've switched it up a little bit. And now you have to have at least a regular foiler membership level to get access to all of our guests. Other than the HD is not changing. If we have an HD episode that we're recording with an HD guest, you're still going to need to have an HD foiler membership level in order to get access to that. But if you don't have a regular foiler membership, All of our other guest interviews are going to be recorded live, but you're going to have a regular Foiler membership in order to get access to them. That is a little bit of a departure and change from what we've done in the past, but it's something that we feel necessary and we wanted to do to kind of give the regular Foiler tier a little bit more value and kind of help spur everybody on to help support the show and be a member. All of our shows that we do where it's just Ben and I are going to be completely open and available for everyone still. That is not going to change. But we definitely want to have you guys become members of the show. And this is our way to try to entice you to do that, give you a little bit more value on the regular Foiler level, a little bit more bang for your buck for $7 a month. So, and again, anything you guys do to help support the show, whether it's joining as a member, these are all perks that we give back to you guys to help increase the value for your support to what we effectively refer to, like I said at the very beginning, as our, our platform to help reach the lost, right? This is our, place where we are trying to do God's work, and our ministry, I guess, is the word I'm trying to find. So I just wanted to share some of that with you guys. And that is going to be the major change that we have going on. Now, again, Ben and I, all those recordings are going to be completely open to everyone. That is not changing. But if it's a guest episode, you're going to need to have a regular Foiler membership level in order to gain access to those. And then if it's an HD guest, which we have typically one of those a month, then you're going to need to actually get a heavy duty Foiler package and plan in order to get access to that live recording. So hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, you can email us, thedudes@thetfhc.com. Throw them in the chat, whatever the case is, and we can get those answered for you guys. All right. I think that's pretty much all I really had. One other thing, if you are feeling charitable and you want to help us out on this front, okay, and you want to just donate to the show, one of the things that you could do if you actually head over to this website, the tfhc.supercast.com, or you go to tfhc.com and click on members, you scroll down past this, there is a donation link right here. If you just want to donate to the cause and you want to give to the show and you just want to help support our ministry, that would mean the world to Ben and I. You can click on this right here. It'll come up. It'll ask you, hey, what do you want to do? What donation do you want to make? And you can put all your information in here and you can send that to us. And that would be amazing as well. We would really appreciate the support. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. So the other things that we're doing. So we are really making some changes and dialing back in the focus on what can we do to increase the production value for you guys when it comes to the show. So this is interesting. Let me get my camera back here. Hang on one second. So yeah, what can we do to increase the production value for you guys on for the show, and how do we get that back? Some way my camera has completely flaked out, which is amazing. Oh, there we go. I don't know. For some reason it lost me, but now I'm back. So there you go. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, how you guys are actually supporting us and what you're doing to help change the show. So first of all, we got some new camera equipment. I don't have everything dialed in just yet. I'm still working on it. We are making some changes to the studio, but I want to give you a little bit of behind the scenes glance about how Ben and I have actually been putting on this wackadoodle production for you guys for really the first almost, I guess, 21 months at this particular point. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a wide shot here using Ben's camera, and you can see we're actually using green screens to do all of our work here. That's kind of the poor man's way when you can't afford all the doodads and gizmos and whatsy who's in the studio. You just use green screens to do that. It does give you some flexibility, but we want to switch that up, and we want to actually provide you guys a cooler studio. When you come visually, it'll be more appealing, increase the production value of everything, and kind of go from there. So that is one of the things that we are going to be doing and working on as we increase the value and production qualities of our little show here, jazzing up cameras, getting a little bit more lighting, and doing some fun stuff. You can actually see in between the green screens right up here, that is actually an electrical panel that is on the back wall because the electrical panel is actually in the studio, what we call the studio here in the basement of my house. So that is, we're going to jazz all this up. We got some cool lighting and things that we've invested in over time. And now that we have the cameras and the cool things we can do with that, we're going to kind of jazz things up and get things dialed in and make things a little bit cooler. So you'll have a little bit nicer visual thing when you come and check out the show and make us look a little bit more professional. So we've had the mics for a while. Obviously, those are great, but we need to kind of increase the visual component and do some other stuff. So that kind of leads me to the last thing that I really want to talk to you guys about today. And this is, I guess one more thing before I get to that. One of the other things that I recognize that I have not been good at, because I mainly handle this for the show, is being much more proactive about getting you guys the information as to who's coming on the show, what's coming up next, when's the next show, when's the next who's he, what's he coming on, and all of that. We are going to do much better job of that. We're going to operate on a 7-1-1 kind of plan. 7 days before we get something coming out, you're going to get an email sent to you. And then one day before it happens, you're going to get another one. And then the day of, you're going to get a reminder there as well. If you get annoyed with that, then just shoot us an email, let us know. We can dial that back. But I think that's really important in order to help keep you guys in the know as to what's going on. I am going to share one other cool thing with you guys that is on the website. If you have not checked it out just yet, you can go over to the events tab on the website. Definitely want to check this out. If you click on events, this is our new events calendar on here. You can go through and you can actually click on any of this stuff and you can find out what we have going on. Like, for instance, you can see tomorrow is a members only video chat. So if you are a regular or HD member, first of all, we didn't ever have anyone sign up for the light. So it's not like anyone lost their package. I just want to clarify that. No one lost their package. We didn't kick anyone out. Everybody was either a regular foiler or an HD foiler anyway. So we just basically eliminated that light plan. But yeah, you're going to need to be a member of the show, and you can actually join Ben and I and the rest of your peers for face-to-face interaction as best we can do in the virtual world, right? On a Google Meet call, and we spend an hour together and just talking together. And you guys can ask any questions you want of us. So it's just kind of a cool perk. We're trying to really get up and going. And so that is actually happening tomorrow. And then if you go over here, you click on 27th, you can see there's another show. This is a show called Tearing the Veil. This is going to be just Ben and I. So again, this is open to everyone. And we're really going to get into all the different ways that we as human beings and the things that we're doing right now are trying to tear the veil, which is creating space for things to move from the spiritual realm into our realm. And by things, I mean not good things. Whether it's DMT or ayahuasca, satanic rituals, CERN, any of that stuff. We're going to get into that. And then on the 29th, we're still kind of talking about what topic we're going to cover, but we're going to have Doug Van Dorn on, and that is actually going to be an HD foiler access only show. So you're going to need to be an HD foiler in order to get access to that live show with Doug Van Dorn. And even when we have that show come out in the regular podcast release, still going to be an HD only show. Okay, so there's really no way around that one if you're thinking that there was. So just FYI. Okay. So I will stop the screen share again, and I am just going to kind of cover the thing that I want to talk to you guys about and just kind of share with you some personal stuff. So long story short, you guys might have heard some of the story before, but I just kind of want to give you an update. And I kind of pray really quick that God gives me the words to share with you, and I don't get too crazy here. But about right when we started the podcast, right around that same time frame, I actually left my job of 11 and a half years. And again, some of you guys may know this story, some of you may not, over issues of faith. Long story short, we were pushing agendas onto kids, all the things that you see in the normal society nowadays. My employer was a West Coast employer, California employer, and they were pushing this stuff really heavily onto us and pushing it onto even indoctrinating kids into these things. And long story short, I wasn't having it. And my wife wasn't having it. So we made the decision to actually leave my employer at that particular time. I had been looking for jobs for a while. I was not having any success looking for another job because, let's just face it, I'm a middle-aged white guy and nobody wanted to hire me. I'm just going to throw it out there and say what the truth is. I was not the demographic that the world was looking for at the time, probably still not in some ways. And I really didn't feel led to turn around and go right back into the meat grinder that is the working world. So I really felt called to start a business. And I actually started this podcast with Ben, and I actually started another business venture called Bricks and Mortar Leadership, which is a leadership speaking and coaching business, because that's another passion God's given me. Spiritual warfare on the one hand, leadership on the other. And literally over the last 21 months now, I have absolutely not been able to get that business off the ground. Can't do it. And it actually feels like at sometimes God has deliberately suppressed my efforts for whatever reason. The only thing I can explain, there's been many things that make me say that, but that's just kind of what it feels like. So during that whole time frame, not having income, my wife is a stay-at-home, and we have just been hemorrhaging money. Quite frankly, we've gone through all of our retirement, went through all of our savings first, and continued to do this, and praying the whole time that God would bring what's needed in order to make our dreams come true and in order to fulfill the things that we felt like we were being called to do for Him. And it just hasn't happened on that front. Now, on the other side, the podcast, obviously, you guys have been great. You guys have been supporting us. It's been growing fast for a little while, and then it kind of leveled off, and then now it's growing a little slowly again. But I have not been able to pour my time and efforts completely into the podcast because I've been spending so much time over on this other venture trying to get it off the ground and up and running. And that was going to be the main breadwinner for the family, the main income source. And guys, it just hasn't happened. And I can't explain that to you other than what I just said a second ago. It feels like God has, for whatever reason, deliberately suppressed that. Someday I'm sure I'll find out why, and it'll all make sense in hindsight. But for now, that's just where we are. So my wife and I have kind of gotten to the point where, as the debt has increased, which I abhor debt, I am not a person that takes on debt. We had no debt when we moved into our home that we have lived in for the last 5 years, other than the house itself. And we had one other thing that we bought some land behind the house. But long story short, as time has gone on, as we've exhausted all of our resources, as we've gone through retirement, and as things have piled on over the last 2 years, and I mean, there has been many things that have piled on between car breakdowns. We live in the country, and literally we've had mice eat the wires in our cars to the tune of $7,000. And we've had well pumps at the house go out, all at the worst possible timing. And we've just incurred more and more and more debt. But we've still, through all that, kept our heart and dream alive for this and for all the things that we've been doing. But we had to make a decision the other day, a couple of them. And one of the decisions was that the leadership business is actually going to get set on pause right now. And I'm going to focus all my efforts and all my energy solely on this podcast and getting it up to the level that I am capable of getting up to with our resources and where we're at right now. So I'm probably sharing a little bit too much with you guys, but I just want you to know that your support does literally mean the world to us. It definitely means the world to me. The podcast itself has gotten to the point where it's paying for itself, and there's just a little bit of extra money coming in, which really is only good enough to really reinvest into the podcast to, provide a higher production quality for you guys, and to maybe allow us to maybe go to a conference or two this year if we're lucky. But really, that's it. It's not going to provide the day-to-day living. It's not doing all those things. So if you want to help support this ministry and you want to help support Ben and I, we can't tell you how much that would mean to us. So whether that's donating or that's getting a membership or whatever the case is, just going on and liking or subscribing or filling out a review or giving us a 5-star review on one of the platforms that you listen to, whatever the case is, it all helps move the show forward and continues to support us to help reach the lost for God. So the other thing that my wife and I have decided to do is we moved into our dream home 5 years ago. And unfortunately, we're toying with the decision of actually selling our home. We met with our realtor today, actually, and we hate that idea. But if that's what we need to do in order to keep serving God and doing what the mission is before us, then we're willing to do it. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. Again, I feel like I kind of owe you the truth as to where things are. It's been very, very difficult on my family and I, especially my wife and I, over these last coming up on 2 years. So long story short, guys, if you just keep us in your prayers, that would mean the world to her and I, and just pray that God provides clarity and whatever the case would be, the support that we need in order to keep doing the work that we're doing and keep moving forward. So if you guys would be willing to do that, I would really appreciate that if you guys just keep us in your prayers. So that's it. I really appreciate all of the things, all the love and support that you guys show to Ben and I and the show each and every day. It means the world to us, and we will catch you